And I just wanted to be sure that I had put my point across clearly, which is that with regard to the alert we have received from the I forget what they're called now.
There's a coalition of civil society.
Let's call it Situation Room, right? Let us be careful what we put out there, but as far as they can be substantiated, I'm fine with that, because I don't entirely agree with you that nothing can happen to the sheets of the result sheets. Anything can happen to them. So I'm just a bit wary of sending out information out there without having backup substantiation. But if indeed there is substantiation, then that is fine. I just want to be sure of that. That message, I put that across clearly. And then I still insist that we have pretty much just about 3 lines of defense. Firstly, we do have the party agents, right? Some of whom can go rogue. So it's not out of the question that they can go rogue. I've heard of, I will not be going into details, but I've heard of that happening in these elections. Then secondly, we have the people themselves keeping watch. But then again, you have to be very careful about people action. You know what I mean? You have to be careful about how you manage that. And then thirdly, the tribunals. I mean, it's my training, it's my calling. There's no way I would always recommend and prescribe to you that that this is a country where Rotimi Amechi eventually became governor.
So you're trying to convince us you're not touting for business for you and your colleagues.
Maybe for my colleagues, because I stopped going to the courtroom a long time ago. But this is the country where Rotimi Amechi became governor, Kayode Fayemi became governor. It's long and it could be laborious, but what really are the alternatives? Yes, people keep watch, people shine your eye, but at the end of the day, sometimes if you leave it to the people, it might be difficult to manage. So we must trust the process, believe in the process, and revert to rule of law. That's my prescription at this point.
Now, I said something earlier, and I'd like to repeat it here again to see what your thoughts are regarding that. I am not totally convinced that actually this process needs coalition centers. I am suggesting that since we were going to go down the line of technology, we could have taken it one step further, which is to find a way to transmit results directly from individual polling units to INEC headquarters in Abuja, or at the very least to the state INEC office, where you may actually have some sort of electronic display system, so that as results are coming in, they are automatically being updated and displayed. And dare I say, a system like that will be almost probably impossible to manipulate, because you're updating information constantly as you're getting it, and it will be hard to see how people could actually manipulate it. I don't know what you think.
It's a brilliant idea.
Thank you.
No, but it is, because why would you do something manually when you can do it electronically? Because that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just put it together the same time it goes. But as far as not being able to be hacked is concerned,
no, I didn't say hacked. I said manipulated. But
they can manipulate anything. It's just they're hacking. Yeah, the chances are minimal. But it's a great idea. But it's at this time of the day, it's putting the cart before the horse, because
I think Kadra is prescribing for the future.
Yeah, for the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what comes to my mind is I want to ask, or I'm asking myself, because it just seems so tedious, right? But I'm wondering, maybe there's something I've missed or we've missed, why that route in the first place? Why from polling unit to ward? From ward to local government, from local government here.
She talked about it earlier, that it's to stop,
I think this is something
to minimize fraud.
Isn't it? It's something inherited from sort of the way we used to vote before. So we've then improved the process, but I've not really looked at all the, it's baby steps, I guess, yes.
Well, I also raised the issue here earlier on about electronic voting that was touted. I think in the aftermath of the 2011 general elections, and a number of Nigerians were hoping that by the time we got to 2015, maybe the system would have been perfected. But, well, we took one step forward, and we have the PVC, and then we have the card reader, but then electronic voting that probably would have taken care of a lot of things, and maybe even half the time spent at the polling units was actually tried out. It was experimented with at the National Assembly during one of their sessions, and as far as I'm concerned, that made for a very clear and transparent process. I don't know the kind of expense the government would have gotten into, introducing that kind of technology, but it was pretty good, except that the same people at the National Assembly, I think they argued against it, and here we are now, still struggling with the same old problem.
Personally, I would prefer that we go through the stages, right? From the polling booths to the words, from the words to the local government, and from the local government to the state.
Why?
I mean, the reason is to just make sure you have control measures at every step. Because if you say, from what you are suggesting, if you will have result transmitted from the polling booths, right? What will be the work of the local government? What will be the
so is it because we want to work for the board? Must they have a job? If they're not relevant, they're not.
You have people that have something to do with this election at the different levels.
And so really the only reason we should do it is not because it's the most efficient system,
just an
it's
extra
so
layer.
that we should just give people work.
No, you're not giving people work. Remember, when you are at the polling booths, right? Somebody at the ward is higher than the person at the polling booth. That's my understanding. And the person at the local government is higher than the person
Yeah,
at
but the
ward.
reason we have that hierarchy is because this is the process we're using to collate results. If we decided that what we wanted was more efficiency and a more transparent system, and what Olumide described, for example, is what obtains in India, and the machine costs something like 50,000 naira, to sort of buy from the factory, has a lifespan of something like 16 years. And what happens is you come in, you vote, and immediately the machine transmits your vote into a database. It is captured, it is published. And so instantly there is knowledge about what is going on. Nobody can come and now change that after the fact because it has been collated. And I don't see why, if you wanted to find people work, you can find work for people doing other things.
No, you see, it's good to also have what we call control measures. And don't forget that...
Well, why do you need control over a system that has been designed for transparency?
No,
on the contrary.
Considering Nigeria's level today, the level of cynicism, the level of corruption, especially moral corruption and political corruptions...
But this is designed to take care of all of that.
I think we need to think through the process a bit more, because I don't agree with you. You see, there may have been reasons previously for this kind of a system, but today, rather than the mischief that you think this process is set up to cure,
yes,
rather, I think it will even perpetrate it. I think it would allow for, you're just creating extra layers where avenues for manipulation. That's what I think. Because if I can actually, let us even say from Uromi, vote in Uromi in Edo State, and the number gets to Benin immediately, let us even say Benin, not Abuja. You know what I mean? That cuts out, many layers.
So technological proficiency then,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's where. But if we're having problems of people getting there on time, something as mundane as that, as it were, then
baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
Well,
baby steps.
Do we remember this phenomenon that used to be very prevalent in the past? The phenomenon of the notorious ballot box snatching. Well, I was actually taking a look at some of the tweets that came in on the Channels TV Twitter handle, and one of them from Enugu State, coming from James Achiogweme, says, ballot boxes snatched at gunpoint at Onungene Oguke Ward at Enugu East at about 7:57 p.m. That must have been on
Sunday.
On Sunday evening. Ballot box snatching. Seriously, does that have any?
That's scary.
No.
When they snatch
not
it, what are they going to do? They're going to
said INEC officials. Okay, he actually tweeted again. INEC officials ran for their lives, so their dear lives at gunpoint. I think it was at the point where they were transferring the materials either to the polling booth, because he didn't state specifically whether
and if he is watching, he should send more details.
It must be from the polling booth if he has.
Yes,
if the box already has ballot paper in it. So it must be from the polling booth to collation center, maybe.
Okay, maybe let's assume, because at that time of the day, 7:57 p.m., it means that
voting is done.
Voting is done, and so someone comes and snatches the ballot box. What really?
Without the counting being done?
Exactly. So what really does he want to do with it? Or what can he do with it? How would that influence the outcome of
it might be
the result, negatively or
it might be a
positively?
major polling unit of his opponent.